Good morning, and thank you for tuning into the Andrew Tate Show, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be covering the NBA playoff games. We're going to be talking more on the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. We'll also be discussing John Jones discusses his next fight, and we'll also be talking about keeping the faith, feel-good stories, and make sure that you guys stick around for later in the show when we'll be diving into an oldie but a goodie segment of oddities of the day. Before we start, though, I wanted to ask that you guys like and follow the show. Also, we get a number of questions from the viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. The tips and donation link is gsmcpodcast.net. This just puts your question at the top of the list so I can see it, and it also really helps the show.
Good
Hello,
morning,
Kate.
Miss Faith.
Good
How
morning.
are you doing here?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. I stayed up too late. I went out with some of my friends last night for dinner and stayed out too late.
Okay.
And then stayed up too late afterwards.
Your definition of going out, that is just going to dinner, or did you guys have drinks? What did
We had
you guys
drinks
do?
at dinner. So we went to where I live. We have a Korean barbecue place, and so we went and did Korean barbecue together. And so lots of food, and we had soju as well. And then
I don't even know. What is soju?
soju. I don't. How would you describe soju?
I've never even heard of soju. That's the weird thing.
Soju isn't like the same as sake, but it's like pop.
Oh,
But it's in like those little glass bottles.
those little sake jars.
Yeah. So, but soju is like Korean, so it's sweet and yeah, I think it's like I don't know how you would describe soju if you don't already know what it is.
That is, see, soon when you say that, I've always noticed that a lot of women gravitate to the sweeter alcoholic drinks. Those suckers are dangerous because you're like, you got a dessert in a glass and you're just like, and next thing you know, you're stumbling around feeling
Yeah,
really
and
good.
the hangovers from the sweet drinks aren't great either.
See, I didn't even think about that. Also, everyone, I apologize about the sniffling, the coughing, sneezing. I got it all over here. So I make sure I time my medicine so that it's at its peak performance. So I take it an hour before I do this show so I could make it through the show.
Yeah.
So I am very sorry if I'm a little scratchy anyway. So it's see, because now what time did you went to dinner? What time do you normally go to dinner?
We went at 7:30, but I don't think we started eating till 8.
Okay, that's more like the Portuguese. Man, they don't even think about going until like 7, 8 o'clock before they'll leave. And then they'll be there for 3, 4, 5 hours just hanging out and eating. And that's all.
Yeah, that was
That
we
was
got
you
there
guys last night.
We got there at 7:30 and we left at 10. And then I stayed up for a couple more hours after that. I didn't go to bed till like midnight, I don't think.
Okay, that is abnormal for you.
Yes, it is.
That is abnormal for
Yeah.
you. Yes. So, all right,
Yeah.
let's dive into this because Faith, I'm bewildered, I'm shocked, I'm confused.
Yeah, I figured you would be.
so go ahead and release the hounds. Let's just say.
Alrighty, yes. So we're going to be covering the NBA playoffs, and we're first going to start off with the Knicks versus the Pacers. So there have been 4 games at Madison Square Garden in this postseason, and all 4 have been within 3 points in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. It's the perfect environment for thrilling basketball, and that's all it's seen in the last 17 days. The latest instance was the Knicks' 121-117 victory in Game 1 of their Eastern Conference semifinal series against the Pacers on Monday. These 48 minutes were a lot different than the Knicks' first-round series against the 76ers, but in the end, very much the same. Once again, Dante Vincenzo.
DiVincenzo.
Okay, yeah. Hit the biggest shot of the night, a 29-foot catch-and-shoot three-pointer that gave the Knicks a 3-point lead with 39.4 seconds left. Once again, Josh Hart played all 48 minutes and grabbed some huge offensive rebounds. And once again, Jalen Brunson scored at least 40 points. There have been 4 games at Madison Square Garden in this post... Oh, nope, sorry.
Okay, I'm like, where are you going here, sister?
Restarting my notes, I guess.
What did you say about that that other drink you had there?
And a turnaround in traffic to tie the game with 1 minute and 14 seconds to go. He's an elite of a one-on-one player as there is, Pacers guard TJ McConnell said. He's playing at a really high level, so we got to find ways to make it even tougher on him. We're not going to shut a guy like that. You've got to make it really difficult. With the score still tied on the next postseason, the Pacers did try to make it more difficult, finally sending a double team at another Brunson isolation versus Nebhard, but Aaron Neesmith's help wasn't aggressive enough, allowing Brunson to make an easy pass to DiVincenzo. Then Tyrese Halliburton was a little too slow to rotate the corner. The Pacers can certainly clean some things up on the end of the floor, and that goes beyond their defense on Brunson.
Okay. This is one of those games. First off, this was a great game. This was, I mean, in my opinion, a very close game. This is going to be one of those series that's going to be really fun to watch. It's what makes it great. They're not the sexiest 2 teams. The Knicks are sexy because it's New York. But Knicks and Indiana, the teams as a whole, they're not sexy. They're just complete teams, and that's what I like about it. When you look at it, all their players contribute, all on both sides of the ball. The Knicks, great defense, nice offense. Pacers, great defense, really nice offense. It was a fun, close series. Looking at Halliburton and Brunson, both of these guys. You look around and you're just like, man, they're balling, they're doing what they need to do, and man, it's just a really close series. So Jalen Brunson with 43 points. It's his 4th consecutive 40-point game. You understand that's Kobe Jordan rarefied air. But the Knicks kind of stayed in there. They had, how many players did they have in double figures here? It was like a balanced performance by both teams. I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about either one of them. Indiana can look at this game and say, we let one, slip through our fingers. The Knicks still going with their Villanova trio. That story is a big story to me. Having 3 players from a Villanova team, and they're showing that they're used to working together and they work well together. That's Brunson, DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart are all like just, performing incredibly well. That trio matched a 74-year NBA record by winning when they won their first round series. Let's see, looking at some of the other things that's going on here. I'm looking at my notes. As a whole, my big thing when I say and I look at this game is this is a 7-game series. I could easily see both of these teams holding serve all the way through the playoffs. I'm very curious to see how they make the adjustments And with, the Knicks, this is when you look at basketball and you start looking at it, and I was talking about this in the production meeting yesterday. When you look around and you're like, look, there's no LeBron, there's no Giannis, there's no Steph Curry, there's no Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, and all those guys. But what they do have is the New York Knicks. And there's a lot of there's a lot of people that have been waiting on the Knicks to actually contend.
Mm-hmm.
The winner out of this series is gonna have a real shot at making the NBA Finals. The question is, will one of these two teams actually win? Whoever wins that first away game, I feel like that's the difference. The Knicks have home field advantage, so they can just keep holding serve and really, and win by winning just their home games. But this is a series that really, have me working. Not a real sexy game though, just a very hard, tough game. These are two strong defensive minded teams, incredibly deep and well coached. And so gives room for a really great series. So that was my overall opinion. And you know what? I don't know who I have in this series. Like when I start thinking about who do I think is going to win this series? It is so close. If you were like, hey, you have to pick a winner, I'm gonna say Knicks in 7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna lean toward the Knicks in 7. But if you told me Indiana 1-7, I wouldn't be shocked. That's how evenly matched up these two teams are, and that's it. I'm excited. We'll know more game 2. But right now, I thought both teams did great.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to the next game, we actually got a comment from Twitch. It is coming from Diggs BTW1. They just said, "Hey, what's up?"
What's up, Diggs?
What's up?
Thank you for watching, my man.
Yeah, thank you.
Love that you gave some comments.
Yeah.
We always love getting comments and feedback, especially during a segment. So getting comments, we encourage everyone to give more comments. That's
absolutely.
If I had my way, I would love to have it where it's just like an entire segment just answering questions.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be nice. Instead of talking about Faith's sake addiction.
Let it be known that I am not.
She is going to the
put that out on the internet. My gosh.
She is at the Betty's Florida Clinic starting next week. No, I'm just joking.
Oh my gosh.
You know I'm joking, Faith. So.
Alrighty, well, moving on, we have the Timberwolves versus the Nuggets. So Karl Anthony Towns scored 27 points and grabbed 12 rebounds. Anthony Edwards also had 27 points the visiting Minnesota Timberwolves defeated the Denver Nuggets 106-80 on Monday to take a 2-0 lead in a Western Conference semifinal series. Minnesota won without center Rudy Gobert, who was away from the team for the birth of his first child. The Timberwolves, holding a decisive edge on the reigning NBA champions, head back to Minneapolis for Game 3 for the best-of-7 series on Friday. Even without Gobert, a 3-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, the Timberwolves held Denver to a season low in points. Jamal Murray scored 8 points on 3 for 18 shooting, but had a career-high 13 rebounds, and Nikola Jokic finished with 16 points and 16 rebounds.
Okay.
Ooh, Tate.
Okay, first off, I have a confession to make. In my head, we were covering the Knicks segment 1 and Denver and the Minnesota Timberwolves segment 2, and then I realized, I'm like, oh, we're not going to break. You can tell I got a cold because I am not 100% here. Okay, Faith, I am confused, befuddled, mesmerized, captivated, and everything else you can throw in between there. I thought this was a foregone conclusion. Denver was going to come in. Minnesota's a nice story this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, they won their first round series. Then they're going to roll into Denver, get beat down, and then Denver's going to roll into the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what I thought was going to happen. Uh, Minnesota kind of reminds me of the Lakers, what the Lakers wanted to do this year.
Yeah.
The difference is this is what the Lakers wanted to do. This is what Minnesota is doing, which is big, strong team, deep, physical, slow the game down. It's been and it's working. But the big difference between what the Lakers are trying to do and what Minnesota is doing is it is obvious. Minnesota, big, strong team, but also young and athletic.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers are not as athletic. Now, when I look at these games and I look, and it's weird because Jokic is the best player in basketball. And I watched this game and I thought, okay, yeah, they slipped on a banana peel game one. They're going to bring the pain this game. And it wasn't the case, not at all. Jokic seemed frustrated. I mean, really frustrated. I mean, the Nuggets in general, shooting 32% in the first half, and they came up and they're trailing 61-35 at the halftime. Overall, shooting for the game, 34.9%, 30% from 3-point land. And like I said, the Joker, who has been Mr. Consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Is there the question I asked a colleague of mine a while back, is there an answer for Jokic? And I said, if you double team him, he will destroy you by passing. If you put him one-on-one, he will destroy you by scoring. Wrong. Minnesota has figured this out. And this is Jokic just seemed he struggled. He had lots of turnovers. The defense was just getting to him. Jokic seemed frustrated, clumsy. I've never seen him that way. And after game one, a reporter came to Jokic and said, how do you deal with the three big men that Minnesota's throwing at me? He said, you're going to have to clone me, meaning there's only one of him on the court and there's three of them. And last night it was only two. This beatdown happened with the defensive player of the year not even playing. Rudy Gobert didn't play because the birth of his child was so he was in Denver. I mean, he was in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't even have the defensive player of the year, and they still frustrated Jokic pretty much from the second half. Pretty much the second half. I'm not saying he quit. It just seemed like he gave up. Like, man, this is the way it's going to be. This is like having the long break. They don't have another game until the weekend. This is exactly what they needed, because if there was a game today or tomorrow, I think mentally Denver would be done.
Mm-hmm.
I would be calling for a gentleman's sweep or something like that, because Minnesota has gotten in their head. But this long layoff with a team like Denver, defending champions, it gives them that opportunity to get their mind right, get focused. Coach has extra time to start scheming and preparing for what they're seeing out on the court. So there's time to make an adjustment. The next game, Denver, for me to say, Faith, the next game, game 3, is a must-win game. It's a must-win game. Even now, when you look at a playoff series, when a team wins the first 2 games, they're 36-5 in the history of the NBA. 36-5. It just doesn't, it doesn't happen. So go down 3-0 and it's never happened. You're not coming back from that. So even though the next game's in Minnesota, they have to come out and play hard. But guess what? Rudy Gobert is going to be back. And they can put these guys one-on-one with Jokic. They can double team him. They can stretch the floor. They're doing everything right. And here's the thing. I haven't even mentioned Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards has been, I'm calling him the happy Kobe. 27 points, 7 assists in the game. And then there's Karl Anthony Towns following it up with 27 points, 12 rebounds. These guys are, it feels like, it's weird to say, the better team is performing here. They're showing they're the better team. There is no way I saw that coming. I would not have said that Minnesota would have been the better team under no scenario. Rudy Gobert is out. Their coach is out. He's not there. If you remember, in the first round, another player crashed into him and blew out his knee. Coach is running on 2 flats. Yeah. So the coach is out. The defensive player of the year is out, and these guys are kicking Denver's butt. What happens with Rudy Gobert coming back? Is it crazy? Charles Barkley, I was watching him, and he's like, he wouldn't be shocked if it wasn't a sweep. I'm not going to go that far, but it's a must win. Coming up, it is a must win or you're done. Mm-hmm. It is that important for them. The NBA champions must win this next game. So I know I got a little long-winded there, but
it's okay.
Yes. Sorry about the clearing my throat and all this stuff, guys.
Sick.
Playing a little injured here.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, with that, we are going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about more on Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. And we'll also be talking about John Jones discusses his next fight. So make sure you guys stick around, and we'll be back in a minute.